Sweet.
Beautiful thing. And the Mega Metas was born.
Well, it seems as if NaVi are going to get things underway very quickly. Brisk move through onto B through Monsters. This should be Taco that opens up the first frag, but the bomb will get planted. The problem now, however, for NaVi is they're going to be a player short with a 5-man retake imminent. 2 of which are going to be coming up through upper and 2 through lower, and that Noose is going to definitely clasp onto the neck of NaVi and choke them out somewhat. Still, the player advantage is the way of the CTs. Taco, in the meanwhile, with FNX, are going to put down the hammer, leaving Simple in a 1-on-2, and FNX lands the second. SK with a successful retake, and that's what we're hoping for. A bit of inspiration, maybe, for the Brazilians to take this one to NaVi.
And that was awesome. I don't know if you saw C's there, even though they lost the round, when they were jumping down out of heaven, trying to rain on their parade, so to speak, into that B-bomb site. He actually clipped one of them in the face while he was falling, just clapped him to the floor. It was hilarious. But ultimately, they do end up losing that round, and this is SK putting the right foot forward. Now, because of that bomb plant, we won't see NaVi invest much into this round. P250s across the board. They're going for that third round buy. And Fallen, well, he's going to push up very aggressively. He's got to get out of dodge. Flashbang comes out, actually, luckily for him, blinds a couple of the NaVi players, so they're not able to put too much chase in. But they're still, it's the P250 train through bathrooms, trying to get past the toilets and try to track down Fallen.
You see it, NaVi, we're like, let's try it. Suddenly, massive hand in the face. Like, nope, let's just back away. Let's try and see if we can work on A instead. On B, pardon me, instead. There's 2 players there. It's going to be Cold Zero with the UMP and the M4 for Taco. So plenty of firepower. And this could bode pretty poorly for NaVi, especially if they bottleneck through Monster. It could be a complete massacre. P250s, no grenades even to just pop flash out and go for the rush. So this could be it. Cold Zero, they've got a crossfire down and they've also got a grenade firing on in there. And the bloodbath has commenced. It's all on Simple now. He's at the back just watching his teammates get wrecked in front of him. Taco with 3 kills. And a nice closeout for SK. Only losing the 1 player. Cold Zero went down, but the M4 was picked up.
Yeah, he was able to get $600 out of that anyway, so not necessarily the return on investment that he was looking for, but it's going to be okay. They know exactly what they're facing down into this round. They're going to throw the scout over to Showtime. They're going to put the AWP on the back of Fallen. And this is what I like to see. FNX is going to go down through Connector. You're going to put a little bit of presence down there. There's a player that is going to be down in that area. And it looks like it's going to be a very fast strategy over towards B. And Edward already opening up. The favorable trades go in the way of NaVi. And this is almost a wash already. Yeah, it's down to a 3 versus 1. This fast B strat, this is... I want to kind of say it's unconventional from NaVi, just going super aggressive towards one side or the other at the very beginning of the round. But it pays in spades. And it's going to be Edward with 3 kills continuing on. 6-2 for him.
On fire today. What could you say? The guy, I was curious how it would transition from Mirage to Overpass, and I think we've had our answer early doors. Very well played. Also, Auto Director completely crapped the bed there. It was like, what's that? You want frags? Let's switch to every player that's nowhere near the action. So
sounds about right.
Single kill.
Sounds about accurate.
Excellent. Just what I was hoping for. Looks like Fuller can save his AWP anyway, in amongst all the chaos. With Showtime on 0, obviously that's going to go up after this round. Taco on 500. This is going to be a decision to be made for SK. Do they want to force in, or do they want to just tap out for this round? They could drop for Fallen. This is going to be a difficult situation, I feel. Depends how much they want this, and it looks like we are going to go for this right now. They're dropping M4. UMP picked up. They're going for broke.
It's actually interesting because they didn't really do a lot of economic damage to the NaVi side during that. They only dropped 2 players, and Guardian's going to be up on an AWP this time around, so... a heavy investment from both sides. The money's not great for NaVi, so if they can get a round out of this, SK, they might force a save from NaVi, or they might force at least some sort of a mix buy from them, which would be pretty wild to see because they're going to try to keep the pressure onto the SK side if the round trade does come out. But for now, it's going to be a slower round from NaVi, not that fast rush in towards B. The rush B don't stop strategy works out last round, but this time around, well, C's doing some serious damage on Catwalk. Cold trying to bail his teammate out, finally dropping out of smoke.
Plenty of confrontation, but a lack of results thus far. Up until the moment, Simple landed the headshot onto Fallen, so that's the AWP dead and buried, and now they're basically leaning on a 5.7 M4 and UMP. Sees runs past the AWP. He's not interested in it just yet. May go back for it later on. Double AWPs though on T side of Overpass. Not necessarily the greatest endeavor. Showtime is trying his best to make something out of this round. The stand-in with his M4. Good for 1 frag, but probably not a great deal else. Bomb still hasn't been planted, but it is moving towards B, which is where Showtime's going in, but he will meet a Wild Simple. And 2-2 now the scoreline.
And that's just the power of that play right there. I mean, they clear him out so effectively. NaVi, just the trade game is not on point right now for SK. It's tough to say that though, because this has been a really fast back-to-back rounds for NaVi, and now we're going to see the save come out from SK. Luckily for them, they've got a 2-round money bonus starting to stack up, potentially 3 after this is all said and done. And to say the least, I mean, Taco leading the frags, Fallen yet to get on the board, coldzera at 1 and 4. So they're on the struggle bus right now on the SK side. The Brazilians really need to pick this one up.
The stack, though, in bathrooms, 4 players strong, with just coldzera up on the graffiti side. Nearly whiffs his opportunity with a P250, but does finally get his man of Edward. And now it's C's turn to try and shine, but Taco is there. There's too many players to deal with. However, coldzera's only got a Mac 10 for himself, so that's going to be a bit of an issue. Simple with double frags, and now it's all on coldzera's SMG. Bomb looks like it could be moving towards him via connector, so he could be in with the action. You can hear the footsteps. If this pop flash connects, this could be a nightmare for the terrorist. He actually flashes himself just as much as his adversaries, and he will go down. I mean, didn't have too many hopes there, Mega Man, but that was a bit awkward.
Quite awkward. And he actually, when he gets killed, he falls down into the crack there beside the bomb site, so they just bury his body as well, so a little bit unfortunate there. Yeah, NA flash chat, NA flash. Beautiful stuff. Little unfortunate, but we are going to go back onto the buy, and coldzera on a FAMAS. No AWP for Fallen, but again, these guys have been struggling throughout this matchup. It's been Taco this time that's stepping up, and he's actually leading the frags, but Fallen's going to open up, finds one. They go aggressive down long A, but it's Edward to trade it back. Edward looking for a second, not going to find it. It's going to be Fallen to find the double at long A. So the trade's going favorably here for the CTs of SK, and Fallen's finding another one. And he's still alive behind Boulder, finally going to get his head, well, I thought was going to get his head taken off, but he's on 4 now. So I stand corrected. And Guardian, can we see the ace? Fallen with the ace. So there you go. He steps up when he needs to. I thought for sure he was going to die at the Boulder. They could see his head just barely poking out over the top.
Me too, but, you know, this is the Fallen that we were expecting to see on the last map. He got an ace. It's important to mention he's on 5 frags now. Before this moment, he hadn't landed a single kill in 5 rounds. So it's just the Fallen effect, I guess. Guys, I'm going to take control of camera now. I'm going to try my best, because Auto Director is drunk. It is just hammered. Clearly, nice frag, though, by Fallen. Looking for a second, and, well, Guardian puts him down.
And that's the trade that they were looking for. I mean, if Fallen starts building up that confidence, I mean, you've seen him just completely annihilate teams single-handedly. So a nice turnaround for the SK side. They get the ace from Fallen at long A. And this time around, though, they're going to be playing a little bit from the back foot. They've lost the AWP. I'd like to see him stick with the M4. He's playing so well with it. But Edward, again, with the double, takes down both FX and Showtime. So this gets returned tenfold back onto the SK side. And if they lose this, they're back on the save.
They sure are. The problem is, though, that coldzera has been picked off by Seized, leaving Taco in a 1-on-4. Couple players fairly close to death. Oh my goodness, Simple. This guy. Taco had no chance. I thought Taco had the advantage there. He had his crosshair right on Simple. But Simple with the cheeky headshot puts him down. And as he mentioned, SK's economy now in tatters. They can go for a couple of buys trying to equalize the economy, as Fallen's only on $1,700, but you know, Mag 7 is very little to contend with when you consider there's so many AKs. There's a Mag 10 as well on the side of Edwards. He realizes the situation, wants to build up the bank balance.
He's going to have an opportunity into this one for sure. And that's the thing. Now he's got the run and gun potential. Now it's not just sitting there and spraying with an AK mowing you down. Now it's going to be hold W and mouse 1 and take your whole team off the board with headshots, tender picks from that Mac 10. But as of right now, they're not obliging. It's a stack on B. 4 players over here with Fallen just trying to scout out the A bomb site. coldzera is on that Mag 7, so could potentially do a little bit of damage, but again, the mobility from Edward, the AWP from Guardian, the rest of them on AKs. And kind of talking about that last round, Vince, you said that Taco had him lined up. I think Simple actually managed to spot him when he strafed out from Heaven. So I think he had a little bit of a line of sight going into that one. But here comes Seized, and Showtime is down.
So we're going to be taking point with the Mac 10. Heavy damage being inflicted. Mac 7 comes in, but it's going to be Edward who lands the headshot regardless. This opens up B nicely. However, it is a bit of a stack from the CTs. So he just charges straight through. Going to pick himself up a frag alongside Simple, leaving Fallen in the P250. And, well, another one bites the dust. NaVi take a 5-3 lead. There could be a buy coming up, but again, Fallen on just 3k. So he's going to get dropped to Norp, and this is going to hamper Showtime's economy a little bit. So they're going to lack grenades, lack defuse kits. It is a buy, but hanging by a thread or SK.
Yeah, Guardians, or pardon me, Fallen is class cannon into this op, so if he gets tagged up at all, he's going to be in jeopardy. So he's just going to play a very passive angle here at long A. Look for any aggression to come around towards the side. They do have two other players that are over here. FNX and Showtime are both trying to fortify this A defense, but Showtime's going to make his way over towards B, and this is going to be the right call. There's a lot of pressure on these B players right here from the SK side, as pretty much everybody from NaVi is going to be over in this area, trying to go down through this monster pipe and see if they can make their way in towards this B bomb site. The nades go out, the flashes as well. Counter smoke is down. They're going to push on through this one, and this is going to get a little bit hairy as Taco and Cold Zero doing the work. Flaming TK, but Guardian through the smoke manages to find one. So they get a small reply, but it's still a 4-on-2.
A 4-on-2. Cold Zero is low on B, but there is cavalry arriving. Flaming and Guardian alive. Guardian had a couple of moments of brilliance on Mirage. Hasn't necessarily been quiet this map. I haven't seen the same level of his impact, so maybe this is his moment to shine. Down in Connector he is 50 seconds left in the timer, lots of time, but the issue for NaVi is when they do finally get around to pushing onto a site, they have no smokes or flashes to go on with, just a Molotov. That could be a bit of an issue, and Fallen, as you highlighted earlier, who was on long, playing passively, is still around that location. He's in bathroom, you can hear the footsteps, and surely only a matter of time. That's a shot on Guardian in mid-air. Highlight reel worthy stuff. And that leaves Flamey and an AWP with it all to do. He's going to meet FNX soon, misses the shot, and SK have brung back around. And considering how poor their buy was, that's a really solid round for SK, only losing Taco in the process.
Yeah, plus they salvage a double up setup out of this, so Cold's going to have that to fortify the B bomb site, Fallen's going to have one for the A bomb site, and into a double up setup for the NaVi side. So out of the 10 players, 4 of them are on the AWP, so that's a lot of money invested into this round. As you can see at the top of the screen, if you look at the money invested, $30,350 for the SK side, $27,600 for the NaVi side. That's a lot of money on the board here. And Cold playing by short B. Let's see if Simple decides to try his hand. And he actually does push out through the squeaky door. So Cold has absolutely no idea this player's here. And luckily for him, that Molotov actually explodes in the air and does not do any damage to him. So he's able to continue to stay here.
Yeah, that's a good point. If that molly lands, maybe the player is Simple, who had moved out of Connector already with the AK-47, could have looked to jump on top of that. He's now maybe going to get in a confrontation. He just witnesses the shoulder on the side and gets the one tap. Simple channeling his inner scream, and down goes Coldzera. And now at least Taco on the site by himself for a little while. Showtime has made moves through Graffiti, so it's a 2-player stack now on the site for the CTs. But meanwhile, the bomb's still dropped around T side of Connector, so it's not going to be a fast pan anytime soon. Taco can only get himself the 1 kill before falling. Now FNX is next on the chopping block as he comes through heaven. Your smoke on the site could very well make him feel that bomb is about to go down. That's not the case. The bomb is still traversing its way from the T side of the map, as now it's all on Fallen. Lands the first shot, but he's got 3 more to find, Mega Man. This is a rough ask.
This is a very tall order, especially with Guardian on the AWP. You've still got Edward alive. These are 2 very formidable players into this one. Actually, it's Simple that's leading the charge for his team as far as the scoreboard is concerned. Guardian going to be looking for this little cat and mouse. Guardian takes the shoulder, she fades it out, and that's going to allow Edward to just pounce. And there you go. A 6th round on the board for NaVi and another reset for SK Gaming. They've been playing from the back foot throughout this entire series. But another thing to note, though, Vince, look at Flamey. He's 1-6. He's struggled on Mirage, too. Where's he gone in the past couple of months?
That's the question, isn't it? It's always interesting when a new player joins a roster to see how the dynamic kind of shifts between the rest of the players. Maybe Flamey's feeling that a little bit. Maybe he's being put into positions where he wouldn't
he's not the
be
new guy anymore.
Yep, perhaps. But what we do know is that even with Flamey not performing fantastically, NaVi still look very strong. So it just makes you think, if Flamey does start performing, these guys, how to deal with them.
That would be terrifying, to say the least. It's actually funny, I see chat pointing out the pings. If you hold up tab, you can actually see an average of like 18 ping for the SK guys and like 5 for the NaVi. It's totally the problem.
Yeah.
That 13 ping difference, man, it's brutal.
Makes all the difference, man. That'll be the excuse if I lose, of course.
We did it, Reddit.
did land a one tap earlier on the B site. And the bomb is now moving there, so it's moving towards Taco, who is on the prowl. He's going to get the AK-47 for himself plus a smoke. Actually decides against it until the smoke blooms up. Elsewhere on the map, though, action's about to kick off as Flamey is going to get himself a double. Putting Cold Zero now with the P250. Probably should land this frag as Flamey was switching weapons. 2-on-2. And SK do have Kevlar behind one of the AK-47s. Taco doesn't. And it's going to be down to Cold Zero to maybe try and pick off a couple of heads. He does turn at the worst possible second, but Edward gets punished. First frag goes his way, and now it's a 1v1. Guardian up against Taco. The bomb is moving to A. Orp plays AK.
This is where Guardian shines, though. These clutch situations. He's going to move over towards Optimus and try to get the pick on Taco, and he's going to be in a perfect position for this. Taco's going to show himself. Taco's going to get decked to the floor, and that will be another round for NaVi. 7 rounds so far on their terrorist side of Overpass, and we're only into the 12th. They've got an opportunity for 11 in this half.
If NaVi win this map, this would be 4 consecutive wins against SK. Which, you know, again, playing for pride, not fantastic.
And I mean, if you consider these two teams' history, the amount of times that they've met, ESL Pro League Season 2, you have the major, both of the majors. It's just like a whirlwind of this rivalry back and forth, and I think that it's relatively even. That shot from Guardian, though.
Jesus, that flick.
And that's again, I mean, we talked about this on Mirage. That's scary. When he starts hitting shots like that, it's night-night.
There's nothing you can do, really. I mean, he only saw a pixel around the corner and reacted to it instantly. And there's another one. Guardian, please, take a break, mate. This feels like what I'm watching is illegal.
261, man. It's a 261. That's police code for a murder. That's about all that you can say. It's going to be Cold Zero. Picks up the deagle off the seas. We'll try to do a little work in this. Finds a second. Okay. Maybe it's within the realm of possibility. Only 23 HP remains for him. He's just trying to drop a couple of guns out of the hands of the NaVi side, but definitely, as you say, Vince, a tall ask, and he will go no further as Flamey takes him down. 8-4 now. NaVi looking really strong.
Whereas Simple didn't really have a chance to shine too much on Mirage as a result of Edward just taking every frag. Being greedy, if you will. He is now top
fragging. I was
fragging.
wrong. I said 261. I meant 187. I apologize. 187. Oh my god.
I had no idea.
Completely different.
I was just going with it. I was like, yep, there you go.
Jack called me out immediately on that. Thank you, guys. I appreciate that.
Get wrecked.
Beautiful stuff.
But SK now have another buy. Again, though, it's a little bit light on grenades. They do at least have a kit this time around. Showtime, he playing the close angle. Sees the barrel of the gun sticking through. Betrays Edward. Down he will fall. Second player is going to be moving in. A seized. Obliterate Showtime. Had no chance in reacting whatsoever. And the meanwhile, Simple's just hearing all the confrontation around him. But he's happy chilling in connector for now. And this patience could very well pay off for him as Cold Zero walks straight into his crosshairs. NaVi, again, not for the first time, have a pretty strong advantage into this round.
Yeah, the rotate is on, though. They might be able to beat the push, and Fallen with this close angle is going to be able to find one and a second. So all of a sudden it gets turned back around, and it's just down to Simple in a 1 versus 2. Does have the bomb on his back and does have a little bit of control towards this A bomb site. But again, Taco and Fallen both over here. Fallen looking for the late lurk to come from the B bomb site, but that's not going to be the case. And Simple just biding his time now, making them sweat a little bit on the SK side, making them try to figure out and make a mistake. He's actually going to hightail it back to B, and this is the right call now. He does go back to the B bomb site, but maybe trying to play a little bit of the footstep game, thinking Fallen's still close on truck. For now, it's going to be a little bit of a standoff at the A bomb site.
Yeah, I think this is purely mind games for Simple, realizing that if he waits long enough, there's a chance that one or maybe both members of SK transition across to B, but they're sticking together. They're having none of it. They haven't moved a muscle almost in bank, and now they're actually coming back up towards A, so this simply hasn't paid off for Simple. And they very nearly line up for him.
Oh my god.
If that had been 2 for 1, dude, I would have just left. That would have been too much to deal with.
Oh man. But with that being said, I mean, if you look at the economic damage that's happened to NaVi, I mean, you go back to even round 10, they had 3 alive, round 11, only 1 alive, and round 12, 2 alive. That they're going to be on a struggle buy into this round. You can see C's with just a deagle, 3 AKs, not a lot of utility. Guardian does manage to get the AWP again, but this is the SK on the verge of maybe getting a reset here really, really late, and it'll be a very desperate buy for the NaVi side going into the final round of the half. So a glimmer of hope for them.
Sees with a drive-by headshot onto Cold Zero, who had everything going his way with the Mag 7. Unreal. And now NaVi take the player advantage once again. And looking to finish this half as strong as possible. Give themselves a solid foundations of which to work off when they go through into the CT side. Fallen by himself on short, looking towards connector. He tagged up through the wall. Seems to spin around in panic for a second there until he realised what was happening. But now the lurk is from Seas. If he looks to his left-hand side, Fallen is a dead man. And there we go. Finally looks for it. And just like that, B is very much open. Showtime going to be coming through Graffiti side with FNX just behind him. 4-on-2 though, Mega Man. Surely this isn't possible. And this has got a whole lot worse. Well, there you go.
Well,
I was going to pass it over, and then
about
Simple's
as
like,
bad as it can get right there.
Simple's like, what's up, bros?
Finishing that one off, and that is going to be a 9-5 scoreline. And instead of NaVi's economy being wrecked, it's going to be SK's economy being wrecked. So they're in a very tough spot. Showtime's going to pick up the scout. They're going to pick up some pistols and some armor behind this. A couple of nades, but I mean, what do you do? The onslaught is on, and NaVi is just kind of running away with this one. We could see another 10-5 half.
Absolutely, it's looking very likely, isn't it? This is going to force out super aggression for the CTs. Fallen going for the pop flash, but there is Simple. Clotheslines him down. Headshot on point. And now Simple is feeling it. And this, like, they could just take turns on who carries, honestly, inside of NaVi. That's the scary thing about this team.
Yeah, that's exactly it. I mean, you saw Edward on the first map. I mean, it's not like he's not performing. This time he's at 12-9. He's doing just fine, but it's Simple at 18-9. Again, Flamey bringing up the rear. Guardian down there at the bottom. They don't need him right now. Scout Frag from Showtime is going to finally be able to get rid of Simple. He's been like a gnat to the SK side so far in this half, and FNX finds Guardian, so they are answering back a little bit here. Let's see if they're going to be able to find any guns out of this, but Zero does have that rifle. FNX finds his second one, spraying with the Deagle long range. Doesn't ever work for me like that, but I'm not a pro. I'm excruciatingly far from that status, and will never ever be that status.
I'm just surprised that the player coming up long didn't pick off FNX there. I mean, he had him pretty much...
Didn't really do much damage either.
Yeah, just 33 or so. FNX then lands the headshot onto Flamey, and this round was looking like it would slip away. Oh, what a one-tap onto Flamey! Just runs straight into the crosshairs. And after Fallen died right off the bat at the very start in connector, I thought, okay, this is it. It's a 10-5 half. Nope. SK bring it back. 4 frags for FNX. Very nicely done.
Yeah, and that's, I mean, a good recovery there. It comes down to FNX at long with just a deagle, and he makes it happen there at the very end, gets the 4K to close out the round. And an unlikely position. He should have been dead from that player coming around long A. I agree, Vince, but unfortunately they weren't able to land that, and SK get a 6th round, so they've got a little bit of breathing room. This pistol round isn't quite as crucial as the last one, but they did manage to get the pistol round in the second half when they went onto the CT side. It was just when they got the 3rd round buy on NaVi's half, when they were on T side, they were able to just string the rounds together and close it down. So we'll see if that's going to be the case, but as of right now, SK does have a little bit of breathing room. We are going to see this battle over by Fountain. 4 players from the CT side over here, and it's Guardian and Seas, and this is not the start that SK wants. Flamey's going to find one, Guardian with another one, and it's down to Cold. He's boxed into. They're just going to swarm in a 10th round for NaVi, so they rectify that final round of the first half with a pistol round victory this time.
And it's the same situation as what we saw in the first map. You know, I was trying to build up the importance of that second pistol because it's SK's chance to maybe get themselves back into the map, especially on the T side. You know, a sort of 6-9, 5-10 scoreline just simply isn't good enough in most case scenarios unless you get that second pistol and you make the rounds work. So now they're going to be up against it from here on out. You've got to feel they've gone for a force this one. PC50 on Fallen, so you can get that AWP that much sooner. Doesn't go for Kevlar. The rest of the team has, and they've got a HE, but that's it. So they're just basically going off the explosive nature of the pistols. The likes of the Tech 9 getting all up in the face of NaVi and trying to pull the trigger till it goes click. Problem is, though, they're against two UMPs and M4s. It's not looking good for SK. It's going to take a big play from somebody.
Well, we saw FNX do it with the Deagle at the final round of the first half. He's got one again, so we'll see the potential for it. He's close up here by bathrooms. He might be able to straight out and find something. Gonna spam away, finds the one dig onto Simple. Looking for another one over here. That is gonna be Guardian with the scout. Does have the mobility of that, but he's gonna take a little bit of damage here and finally does fall to Showtime's Tech 9, and now they're able to push on in. Showtime finding a second one. They're gonna provoke the rotate, and the bomb is already hightailing it out of there. Showtime doing some work into this one. Taco's got himself a forward position, so if they rotate back around, he should be able to catch him, and he will. Flamey's switching weapons, gonna get caught out. And now it's down to Seas in a 1v4, so this is a brilliant recovery from SK as they look to steal away this force buy. and hopefully salvage some weapons out of this round to move forward into the next round. That would be a nice find for them. But all the rifles and everything are down on that A bomb site, and C's is trying to guard them for right now.
He's doing what he can. He's in a bit of an orthodox position for a save, and this could definitely catch out a couple of players. Problem is, though, coldzera has spotted him from dumpster, gets the dink as well, just to add insult to injury, and Taco finishes off with the UMP. So there's me thinking, okay, it's pistols against a really solid buy. They lost one member in that round, Mega Man. That is unbelievable. It was FNX who comes around for the first one dig, and then Showtime from long. So it was just a real team effort from SK. I am somewhat mind blown that they pulled that off.
And not only that, they managed to salvage a couple of guns out of that. They got an M4A4, they got an A1, they got a UMP, and they're going to be going up against unarmored targets. So Taco's going to have a chance to put some chang in the bank, see what he can do. He is just playing passive, waiting for NaVi to get aggressive behind this towards that B bomb site, but they're not going to oblige for the time being. He's just going to play this one very, very patiently outside here. This is a good position. This is a strong position if they do decide to push. It's quite the off angle.
Yeah, for now, SK are playing this one very intelligently. They know that NaVi are likely onto an eco. Curious if that is going to force them into a hyper-aggression and hyper-aggressive round. You see Nip doing this quite a lot as well in their anti-ecos, playing very deep, very passive, effectively saying, come at us, bros, to the CTs, knowing that the longer the round goes on, the more it will favour the terrorists, especially when the set play starts to come down. But NaVi holding their nerve. They're not pushing anyone aggressively. Originally, C's did go for the angle, as you were mentioning, but he's pulled back. He's realised, okay, this hasn't really paid out for me. Better to have the three-man stack on B with crossfires. It's a lot better than me sticking out and getting a one-for-one trade, because ultimately that's not going to help him a great deal. Dink does go into coldzera, though. Edward, I think that was, pushed through, lands the dink, pulls back again. And with 35 seconds, SK, they have some decisions to make, and it looks as though it could be an A take.
Well, this is going to be on how well can Taco sell this fake over towards B. He's going to drop the smoke out onto the sidewalk. He's going to push on forward from this one. He's actually pulled all 5 players over to NaVi, and this is exactly what they want. So now the push comes in towards A. Taco does die, but they've got all 4 rifles up on this A bomb site, and now the mass exodus out of that B bomb site. They're going to be able to push one around for the long flank. They're going to have players trying to get their way up into the site, and finally you see the frags coming out. coldzera is going to be able to find one. FNX on the board. Cold with the second one. Finally traded out by Flamey, but it is still a 3-on-2. Long spray from Fallen's going to chip Guardian down to 10 HP, and they've still got to deal with Flamey. But there it is. Simultaneously, it's going to be Showtime again with the Tech 9 and Fallen with the AK to finish that round off. And that was really all about Taco.
Absolutely. You hit the nail on the head there. Taco had to sell that fake, and he sold it very well indeed. The bait was real. And although NaVi did pick up the frag onto him, and it was a pretty tasty shot that took down Taco at that. The problem is that,
it was Edward again.
Yep. The problem is that when they went up, I mean, the positions for SK were just far too strong, and they had every advantage going their way. So SK have managed to bring this one back, but they've got to keep this going. There's no room for error. NaVi are into another eco, and Mac 10 for Taco could very well start to mow down some players. The lawnmower of Counter-Strike. Flamey, in the meanwhile, takes point with the deagle. Lantic was seized, accompanying him with the assist, but Showtime in the meanwhile is making short work of everyone that's coming up against him. Finally goes down to Edward's hands. A 2-for-3 trade in favour of SK. It's expected, but the bomb has been planted. So for me, I feel like maybe NaVi just back away and try and save one of these weapons that they've taken down.
Talking about backing away, look at where FNX is right now.
That is keen, bro. That is keen.
He's just hoping and praying that Simple pushes this, and unfortunately for him, Simple is going to go back up towards Fountainside to try to salvage one of those guns that was dropped, which is a smart play because there is an M4A1 up there. Taco's just over here trying to guard these weapons for the time being, but Simple gets an AK. Edward has the opportunity to possibly get himself an M4, and actually Simple and Taco cross paths. They're going to be... Yeah, now Taco goes for it. There's the M4 picked up by Edward. He's going to hear the footsteps coming around. Simple from long range. Going to look for the shot. Going to get tagged up a little bit. But is he going to be savvy? No. Edward is going to be able to take him down. So they salvage 2 guns. That's actually really nice for their economy moving forward, because NaVi is in that situation that SK was in the first half, where if they lose, they're back on the save. This is going to help keep a little bit of money in their pockets, and it also allows Guardian to get an off.
Absolutely. And Guardian was actually dropped an all, I feel, from Edward, I think. Which means he's got about 3.6k left in his bank balance, which means he can get an up next round if he so chooses. So that's why that save is so important. Look at how aggressive Guardian is playing. He doesn't respect anybody right now. Misses the shot onto Showtime, but the smoke is going to screen his retreat back to the site. Actually, he eats a flash running against the wall, not realising it. We've all been there. It's quite frustrating. But somehow, some way, after that high progression, nobody's fallen. Still all 10 players are alive on the battlefield.
Yeah, and the only one to take any damage really is Guardian. I mean, 1 point of health off of Taco, not a big deal, but he pushes a smoke, finds one, finds a second. He just opened up the B bomb site by himself. FNX is able to find one. Edward on high is going to get the trade onto Taco. The push coming around towards that A bomb site, they're going to be able to find one more. Cold Zero is going to be able to find Edward, and it's all down to Guardian in a 1 versus 3. Not a lot he's going to be able to do. It's the same situation Fallen found himself in that opening half. And at this point, he's probably going to be looking to try to hang on to this rifle and work forward, but again, Taco with the heroics, opening up that B bomb site for his squad. I mean, he's only 14 and 15, but the impact into some of these rounds can't be measured in frags.
Well, that's it. You know, kills and assists only paint sort of half the picture. Impact frags are so essential. Also, certain positions that he was playing on the CT side around the B site were fairly precarious at best, especially when some of his teammates were dying around him. So I don't think he can really paint a full picture of the scoreline. Absolutely not. Unless it's sort of like a 1 for 11 scoreline, in which case someone's not really pulling their weight.
Yeah.
But NaVi, again, we've seen this so many times that the CT side is a cruel mistress. Just when you think you're getting a grasp, you have no money left, and you're back to mag 7s and pistols and nothing else.
Yeah, and that's the big thing. You know, talking about the stat lines, that's something that I know Moses has brought up before, how, you know, want to talk about players getting kills while their teammates flashbang, and then the blind kills afterwards. That's something that can't really be measured. And they said that Fallen is one of the best, you know, support players in that regard. And you see Fallen actually opening up this round. Not a name that we've actually said too terribly frequently in this matchup, but he has quietly crept his way up. And look at the way that the scoreboard is separating these players on the SK side. Top fraggers are both Taco and FNX 16. And at the bottom, it's only 4 frags difference, down to 12 for Cold Zero and Showtime. So they're fragging as a unit right now. Nobody's taking over the match for SK.
And this was so important, especially after that lackluster first half scoreline of they're getting 6 rounds on the CT side. They needed to all pull together on the T side. There was no room for error, and so far they've been performing very well indeed. Fallen, by the way, landed a pretty sexy shot through the smoke. I'm not sure if you caught that, where he pushed through Monster by himself first. Very nicely done. But as a result of the eco, we now find ourselves with 2 AWPs, and no huge surprises. It's going to be Seized and Guardian who have picked them up for themselves. We're going to see some confrontation and battling pretty shortly as FX goes in, lands the headshot onto Simple, opens it up nicely. And there is a second player down there, but FNX lands the second. Guardian gets completely decimated. What a shot that is. Opens up A nicely, and Edward's going to go down afterwards for Showtime. Unbelievable play from FNX.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, FNX starting to hit his stride into this one, taking over that top fragger role, and Showtime's starting to come along as well for these guys, starting to pick up the pace for him, as you've seen a couple of very important frags for him, but FNX going God mode into this round. Fallen's going to be able to find Cease and Underpass, and Flamey loses his life. FNX finishing off the hat trick, and that is going to be SK taking a 2-round lead, so they're battling back here on the T side. They were a little bit lackadaisical on the CT side, only getting that 6 rounds and then losing the pistol, but since then it's been all SK. They lost the pistol round to NaVi, get the force buy win, and so far have strung 6 rounds together.
Very well played indeed. Efficient T performance. And we've had moments of really everybody having huge plays. Taco's entry frags and FNX there onto the A site. Pretty unreal. Seeing a bit of a confrontation in connector as a force buy. It comes through it. Very much a broken force buy though. Cold Zero is going to chime in for the first frag. Fallen with the second. And this force buy not really paying out whatsoever for NaVi. So they're going to be in such a poor position. Edward caught in 2 minds whether he should pick up the weapon. In doing so, it will cost him his life. And it's now suddenly down to Simple in a 1-on-5. And only 1 HP has been lost on the entirety of SK. Good luck to you, Simple.
This would be a 499 damage ace clutch. That is preposterous, I want to say. But it is Simple. And he's actually, oh, the timing is not on his side. He actually turns away just in time for Cold Zero to lurk out from playground or party, pardon me. And not going to be able to do anything from that one. You can hear the Molotovs going in. He's actually over towards the B bomb site, and that's where the bomb's planted. So he's got a kit too. If he's able to clear this out, well, he's not, but if he was, he might have had an opportunity into that round to get a bit of a ninja play, but Arthur's going to be able to find him, takes him down in the 13th round now for SK Gaming.
You always want to believe, right? You want to
You always want to believe. Yeah, that would be insane, but unfortunately, Taco just destroys him, so no joy for him.
NaVi had the option with their full round loss bonus to maybe go for another buy, but they decided against it. So it suggests to me we're going to see some AWPs next round, probably 2 of them. Simple's dead first in the round in connector. Just pretty much forced into these aggressive plays. You're not likely to hold off with this sort of weaponry on a site, so playing aggressive definitely favours his playstyle too. And these are the kind of moments as well, you know, when we were talking before about will they capitulate somewhat when the going gets tough. Of course, this being a show match, it's unlikely they're going to get too tilted by this, but I'm talking about lands in the future. I'll be very interested to see how that one comes up. Taco, again, is the man who is trying to sell a fake onto B while the rest of his team is congregating through bathroom. Guardian is eating a little bit of damage. Bullets firing his way through smoke. Decides to back away. This could be into the embracements of Showtime, who's already pushed up long. He gets the spray down. A bit laboured, but gets it at the end of the day. And now 3 NaVi members have to try and clutch this scenario somehow.
Yeah, I don't see this being likely. They're just sitting over here. They want to hang on to the head armor for the next round. Edward's got a Mag 7 in head armor. You've got a CZ75 for Seized, along with that head armor, and then you've got the Desert Eagle for Flamey, but not going to be the opportunity that they were looking for. Showtime coming around from on high, going to be able to find one as well as Taco, and now Edward goes down, so no extra joy, no extra saves for the NaVi side, and we will see a 14-10 scoreline. So SK on the recovery, and they are going to find themselves on tie point, on the verge of going up the map point, and trying to get their first map in this show match series that they've got going on, because so far it's 3-0 for NaVi.
It has been fairly one-sided maps at that. Haven't really had any close maps to talk about. It's not going to be close, I feel, if NaVi lose this one. This, to me, is their last line. Their last lifeline. As Simple is going to come head-to-head with Showtime, very possibly. The smoke zone may deter this aggression just for now. Showtime deciding to push through it. And NaVi stacking at the back of B site. Interesting setup. No one going aggressive through short or monster, playing for the range instead. And now Simple just going to be charging his way through. Showtime is still in connector, so Simple thinking better off pushing down there. And that was the correct decision. He would have almost definitely died for his troubles. Meanwhile, Taco is up here, just hiding on short. Does have a few players around him. Just hear the pitter-patter of footsteps as I believe that was Edward who was rotating from B to A. But Mega Man, this has been a pretty slow round. I think NaVi realizing how much could very well rest on this. You know, they have to get this round for themselves.
I think they both realize how much rests on this, but if you take a quick look at Tab, look at the money for SK right now.
It's a whole lot.
How terrifying is that? I think they're pretty much set for the remainder of this half if it does go the full 30, but Fallen's going to try to make a bid for that one. Takes down Edward. Guardian responds, but Guardian goes down to cold zero, and we will see the push coming in towards this A bomb site. They've got Simple. Going to try to lock this one down. He's going to have an opportunity, but that smoke is going to allow FNX to get a little bit more aggressive and sweep around from the backside of the site. Bomb planner going to go down. FNX is going to be able to answer that back, and it's down to Flamey 2 versus 3, or pardon me, 1 versus 3, and he's made it a 1v1 now. And it's Taco to try to rotate around. Only 8 seconds. Flamey's got to hide, but he's going to take the fight, and Taco's going to take him down, so it's a bit of a mistake there from Flamey. He could have played Bring Around the Rosie on the boxes and just wasted time, but he goes down.
What was that, 1 second left? 2 seconds left?
I think there was still maybe 4 seconds left, but he had to get the bomb and plant it. There was no time. He just had to run.
Unreal. Absolutely unreal. NaVi had the golden opportunity to get themselves back into this map. Yes, the funds are strong on SK. Yes, it would have been an uphill climb, but man, oh man, that is a round you've got to win. And it's gone against them. So, SK, 5 map points. Fallen has opened up the first frag onto Seized. Pretty significant. He will go down, though, to the hands of Flamey, who is good for a second frag. And we were saying he is one of the guys on NaVi's side that's not necessarily performing fantastically. That double frag was pretty massive in a round like this, but still a 3-on-3. Far from out of the woods just yet.
He's trying to make up for that last round, that error on that last round, because that might have cost him this map. Just looking back on that, we are into a 3 versus 3, so Seized and Edward off the board. Those are 2 big players here at 16 and 13 kills for the NaVi side. But they've still got Simple alive, still have Flamey alive. Guardian only on an M4 this time around, but Flamey's crept up into this A bomb site. Simple's playing a very forward position by bathrooms. They're all going to be coming around from long, and it's Flamey to find a third. Going to be looking for some more, but the action's heating up here in towards this A bomb site. Flamey looking for his fourth kill, gonna finally get decked down, but it's gonna be Simple to fly. Simple does drop, and only one player left. 40 seconds. The bomb is gonna get planted. Guardian trying to come around quickly. The bomb is planted. The rifle is out, and now he knows exactly where Guardian's coming from. He's gonna stare at the flash, but he gets the spray. And Guardian's gonna be able to finish off the round, stave off defeat for one more time, and NaVi is gonna find their 11th round.
Yeah, the problem is, though, with NaVi is they win the round, which of course is great because they're not going to lose the map just yet. They take 4 casualties, so their buy into this round is going to be complete garbage as well. Guardian can drop, but you're not going to have an AWP in play. You're going to have M4. C's is likely going to be on a poor buy, maybe a FAMAS for 5-7. It's going to be a FAMAS and a lack of nades. So, yes, they've won, but SK is still firmly in the driver's seat.
And here's the scary thing again, you know, we talked about the money on the SK side. This is after a full buy down. They still have every single player over $8,300. That is so terrifying. And I don't think NaVi realizes how out of control the money is for the T side right now. They're going to have a lot of work into this because there was a string of 4 rounds in a row for SK where they had all 5 players alive. Bot Taco, not going to find that frag. That was a little bit of an error there as Edward cleans him up. It's a 2-man to 0 trade for the NaVi side to open this map.
That's a crazy stat, isn't it? With so few members dying, hence the build-up of economy. But this game's not over just yet. It was looking really bad. But NaVi have a 4-on-2. Showtime has taken it from 5 players, so it's not going to be a clean sweep in this round. And now all falls to Showtime. Then NaVi's on long. Nice headshot. But not clean, down to 31. And more importantly, the bomb has been dropped outside of Monster, T side of Monster, and the CTs know it. So they're going to spread out and try and make this welcoming party as brutal as possible. And it's Seized who will close out the round. So they're keeping themselves in it again, though, as you called a couple rounds ago. I mean, SK are going to have buys from here on out. They're not going to have to eco at any point. They've got more than enough funds.
Yeah, I mean, this buy down takes him down to 5,600. Lowest is going to be falling at 3,600 because he buys the AWP. But, I mean, it's just this money is so crazy for the terrorist side that every single round is a high-pressure round for NaVi at this point, just because of that full-buy mentality coming at him every single round. It does look like there's going to be a pretty telegraphed hit towards this B-bomb site from the SK side. Not leaving the lurker over towards A, not going to leave anybody to clear out underpass. And there it is. There's the flash out. Showtime just denies C's, but they got to clear out Flamey. They can't expect 2 barrels, can they? He's just going to bide his time. This is a brilliant play. Edward's going to find one. The Molotov to try to flush him out, but that's only going to bait him in even further. And there's Edward with the second. They still don't know Flamey's here. And now he pounces, finding one, going to be looking for some more, but they finally figured out where he's at. And Taco's going to be able to respond, but it's a 2-on-3.
You never expect a double barrel stack, especially around like this, but is NaVi going to be able to pull the trigger and clutch this round as Taco lands the headshot, bringing it back to a 2-on-2. There's still a lot of time to play with, so there's no great rush to get onto the bomb and get it planted, and this will definitely play in the hands of SK. NaVi going to try and bounce back with the M4 frag from Simple, who gets the flashbang. Taco, your last remaining terrorist, sees a little bit of a spot in the smoke, but gets, I think, down to 26, so isn't looking too good for SK. NaVi maybe grasping on to get another match point, and there is Simple's nade from downtown. Get Kobe'd.
Got a little Steve Kerr action going on. 13 rounds now for NaVi. They're making a bid at this. It's going to be another buy down from SK. It's like we said, the money is going to be fine for the rest of this half for them after that tremendous streak of rounds, but they haven't been able to close this one out yet. So what can they do? What do you think they need to do in this one, Vince, in order to answer back? Because they're getting shut down at B. That double barrel play, very unconventional from NaVi, and it works. But it was Edward to open things up with back-to-back kills to keep the pressure looking towards the site.
I feel like they've got a lot of their wins when Taco's actually played fakes and such and been a real pain in the backside over on the B site, while SK either aggressed on A or took it slow via connector. I think maybe they're being a bit too one-dimensional at the moment from what I'm witnessing. But that also being said, NaVi have stepped things up massively since the beginning of this half. They started really poor, they started really slowly, they've upped their game. So I wouldn't even say it's an issue with SK's gameplay. I think NaVi are just firing on all cylinders right now. But yeah, I think these fakes from Taco have been pretty important, the rounds that SK have picked up.
Oh, they're going to head stack boost. Fallen was looking for it, but they're going to find FNX behind him, and they already dropped from the boost, so they got what they wanted out of that. and that's unfortunate. The timing again. I mean, it's crazy when you spectate these maps to actually see how timing is such an issue. A lot of times when you're actually playing the game, you don't realize how bad timing can be, but that's just another one of those issues that's just like, oh man, he's watching this angle for so long, turns from it, they boost and they kill his teammate.
We saw this time Taco actually went in for the fake. He had the drop and got picked off, so it was a pretty key moment in this round that could have baited a couple of these CT members over towards the B site instead, but now it's going to be the full stack on A. 20 seconds left. Fallen does chime in with the up frag, and he's going to be pushing in first with the bomb. This could be curtains for Cold Sarah, and Edward and Flamey both tag each other in, wrecking through SK, and that is now 4 rounds in a row to NaVi. He had 5 map points to... well, match points, I suppose I should say, to save, and they've gone through 4 of them, and now SK are going to go for a double up. So I guess that's their answer to your question. They want to get double up, see if they can get a pick.
And actually, the interesting part about this is the weakest buy that they've had out of all of these rounds, and it goes with the double up. It's just they go for this with the lack of utility. Guardian aggressive towards the A stair is going to try to fire a shot in towards that fountain side, but he's going to get blinded out and has to fall back along with Simple, and they're going to rethink things over here. Let's see what they decide to do. Simple... he's going to just bide his time, maybe allow Guardian to boost up on top of him. It looks like he's just patiently waiting to see if a push comes around towards that bathroom side, but Simple, where's he at? He's tucked into a corner right now. That long A corridor. If they do push down, he should be able to pounce on them when they come around the corner. But for now, it is going to be the slow play out of SK. They don't want to give anything away too early, and they're going to find more than they wanted. SK's Fallen's going to be able to find Guardian to open up the round, so... a little bit of an advantage, something that we haven't seen SK have in the last couple of rounds.
Again, though, do they expect the double play there? Because, as you highlighted, Simple still playing very passively up on the long alcove. And the pick was from Fallen towards the bank. Meanwhile, Taco, again, lurking on B, has picked up the frag as he pushed out a monster. So this is one of the best opportunities SA have had in the last 4 or 5 rounds. A 3-on-5 to win the map and go 3-1 in the show matches. This is surely their chance to clutch it out. 23 seconds, though, is going to play against them, and this could funnel them into a really bad spot. Simple with the up. He's going to land the first frag, narrowly missing out on the shot through the smoke, and now it's going to be Showtime who steps up to the plate and lands the spray. The issue, though, for NaVi is that the bomb is being planted on B. Actually, hold the phones for a second. It's not Simple. So nearly lands the no-scope in midair. That would have been crazy madness. Flamey in a 1-on-2. The bomb has now been planted just in the nick of time. But Flamey on Graffiti has to make the very scary task of moving across to the B site with 2 separate angles to cover. And it's going to be Showtime who rounds it off. SK take it 16-14. It was laboured in the end, Mega Man, but they got the job done.
Yeah, and that was actually a brilliant piece of team play there at the end. They heard Flamey shoot out